Why is being wise important? Or maybe you would like to be more wise, but just can't seem to figure out how to get it? Let's take a look. Hey, welcome back everyone. My name is Nathaniel, and I'm so glad that you joined me for this video. And hopefully, I can help you feel a little bit better today. And today we're going to focus on this interesting concept of being wise to where the things we do in life yield better results than they have in the past. I know for me, I definitely wish I made better decisions, wiser decisions in my earlier days. But thankfully, I learned from them. Now, however, most young people don't really take into account the consequences of decisions, and I think it's primarily because they don't realize the long-term results of it. I know I definitely didn't. But what's cool about learning wisdom in these cases is that you either learn from other people's mistakes or you can learn from them yourself. I personally take the first option. But what if we constantly are making mistakes and everyone around us is also making bad decisions? I'm glad you asked. Now, the Bible has a great book with a lot of wisdom. Actually, it's all about wisdom. It's called Proverbs. And now Proverbs has a ton of great counsel in the ways of being wise. But what most people don't take into account is that all of the information can be garnered from this text by being so old, and it is still relevant for today. Now, for example, we're going to look in Proverbs chapter 1, and we're going to start in verse 1. And this is what it says. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel. Verse 2, for gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight. Now, reading it on your own can sometimes require reading in the context of someone speaking in order to hear the proper delivery. I truly believe this. And it will go something like this. These are the Proverbs of Solomon, which are for gaining wisdom and instruction and for understanding the words of insight. Pretty simple. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier about how it would be much better for us to learn from those who have gone through it rather than having to deal with it ourselves. It would save us so much time and honestly, a lot of embarrassment. But moving on, it says wisdom is important for, in verse 3, for receiving instruction in prudent behavior, doing what is right and just and fair. Now, prudent is an important word because most of the instructions I ever received didn't really explain how it was important for the future. It was more just for doing it in the moment. But the instruction here is meant for the prudent behavior, acting in a way that takes great care and concern for the future, while also learning how to do what is right and just and fair. Now, as I get older, some of the best advice or instructions I've ever gotten are those that help me be adequately prepared for the future. Like the most basic things I can think of right now is rinsing dishes before putting them in the dishwasher, which will save you in gunk in your pipes and allows you for a more effective cleaning process on your dishes so that you don't get dried up junk on your dishes later. Now, that's just one example. But most of the time, I think we as humans have a rather good idea of how to determine what is right and just and fair, but we don't really have what one would call a good moral compass in regards to acting without selfish motives. I mean, seriously, it would be difficult to make a decision without some sort of emotional weight thrown into it. But to be taught what is right, just, and fair, according to God's standards, is important because we don't really see those factors come into play anymore. It's all about doing what feels good to one's own desires. And in verse 4, it says that wisdom is important for giving prudence to those who are simple, knowledge and discretion to the young. I think it's funny how the Bible sometimes just doesn't really sugarcoat things. And what I mean by that is, I think at one point, being called simple was an insult. And I used to pride myself on being simple as a means of describing my tastes and what I prefer. But I don't think I'm going to go around saying that anymore. Not after today. The Proverbs are good for giving care and direction for the future to those who are simple. Now let's change it up. Let's add some synonyms to it. Simple, reckless, couldn't care too much for the things of life or the needs and best interests of others. It's important that they gain knowledge and learn how to make good choices when they're young for obvious reasons. I could almost guarantee that if you had to think about one instance where you wish you could have not made a bad decision, a wise decision, you would probably think of one pretty quick. And so would I. But let's keep going. Then the text encourages the reader by saying in verse 5, "Let the wise listen and add to their learning, and let the discerning get guidance, for understanding proverbs and parables, the sayings and riddles of the wise." Basically, it's saying that if you are smart, keep listening, keep learning, keep growing, and keep adding to your knowledge and wisdom as if you were saving or collecting up for good merits. It's also good to learn if you ever need guidance and direction in life. But it's very important to begin to tune your ear and your mind to these things as soon as you can. It's kind of like how reading or doing mentally stimulating things like playing brain teaser games, puzzles, or strategy games like chess has a positive effect on you as opposed to things that might not exactly benefit you. And this is how it wraps up in this section. We're going to be in verse 7. "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." This is the ultimate thing to know in the beginning of the pursuit of knowledge. Fear of the Lord, respect, honor, devotion, care, passion, and a desire to develop a relationship with God is the route that needs to be taken if one is desiring to obtain wisdom well. And then the fools, they despise it. And instruction in healthy living is kind of like healthy food habits. We all want ice cream, and we all want this amazing high calorie, high cholesterol, high fat, and sugar treat. But we really need to be eating the healthy veggies, fruits, and other things to stay in the best health we can, because those are the things that God gave us. Just another example of how God wants to take care of us. So don't make it complicated. Wisdom is knowledge, and it comes from God alone. And we should hold fast to everything that we can get as we develop a solid relationship with Him. Now, if you are new to all of this, and you're just starting out and trying to figure these things out, then keep searching, keep learning, and keep wanting to know more, because that's a great place to be. And if this is something that you haven't heard in a while, same for you. Keep searching, keep learning, keep wanting to know more. We're all doing this together. We're all running the race that God has put us here and purposed us here for. And we all can do it. You can do it. So, stay tuned for our next talk about wisdom and how we can grow the next time we meet. But for now, you are doing great. I am really proud of you. Comment below if you have any questions or you want to talk about something specific. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.